As far back as the 8th century BC, every 4 years, the fiercely belligerent ancient Greek world would set aside its differences, sending their best athletes to compete in the ancient Olympic Games. Gathering at Olympia, at the region of Elis in the Peloponnese, this sanctuary would become the epicenter of the Greek world, gathering countless embassies, poets, merchants, artists, and all kinds of people for over a month. This event, of course, triggered a flurry of economic activity and provided a spectacular opportunity for the city-states to engage in some propaganda. Something like, hey, we have the best athletes. We won this year's Olympics, we must be blessed by Zeus. Think about statements like that. And what best way to do some ancient propaganda than to put it on coins? This is what we're going to be exploring today. Did the Elians, the organizers of the Olympic Games, mint coins? Did the participating cities mint coins celebrating the event? That's what we're finding out today, as we're joined by the Mesogeios collection, a lovely collection of Greek coins you will often see featured in this channel. Alright, let's go! And as always, first a little bit of a historical context. The ancient Olympic Games actually predate the invention of coinage. The most accepted date for the first Olympia was 776 BC. That's some 100 years before the invention of coinage, and a solid 200 years before coinage became widespread throughout Greece. Fortunately for us, the citizens of Elis, the city-state that ruled the region where Olympia was located, quickly caught up with the idea of coinage and its potential benefits to promote the games and make a handsome profit at the same time. Between the 5th and the 3rd century BC, while they were an independent polis, the city issued an important number of coins, changing the designs every new Olympiad. And as the delegations from all over the Greek world flooded into Elian territory, they brought with them their own coins to fund their delegations. These coins were of all different sizes, different weight standards, and for a festival where lots of people also did business apart from enjoying the games, this obviously represented a problem. And how did the Elians fix this? Well, simple. No foreign money could enter their territory. It all had to be exchanged at the border. They would charge a fee, of course, for the privilege, which allowed them to fund the games. This transformed the Elian coins of Olympia into something akin to the world's first souvenir. Think about athletes from the ancient world bringing these coins back home as small mementos to their participation on the games. This also embeds these coins with some sort of mysticism, I would say. I don't know about you people, but I always wondered who owned my ancient coins back in the day when they were real money. There is a chance these coins were once owned by a real ancient Olympic athlete, even a champion. For me, this is absolutely crazy. So that is a nice clue for us to have a look at our first coin. We're starting out going very far back in time, to between the years 428 and 424 BC. This piece is attributed to the 88th or the 89th Olympiad. And how do we know so accurately when this coin was struck? Because we know the name of the man who engraved these dies. Hosting such a prestigious event meant that all the best artists, including sculptors and engravers, wanted the privilege of being hired by the Elians to engrave the Olympic coins. So as we look at the obverse, we have the eagle, the animal that represented Zeus. Remember, the entire point of the Olympic Games was to be a festival dedicated to the worship of Zeus, so it's just fair that many of the designs make reference to him. Now remember I mentioned we know who engraved the dice for these coins? Sadly, in this case it's worn off in this particular coin, but the lower part of the design, between the eagle's legs, featured the letters Delta and Alpha, an abbreviation of Daedalus. Daedalus was a sculptor from the city of Sicyon, who was said to be so skilled he worked engraving coins for the Olympiads for 4 entire decades, or between 9 and 10 editions of the Olympics. Heading to the reverse, we have the classical rendition of the thunderbolt of Zeus. This unusual shape comes from the old mythological depiction of lightning, as Zeus's lightning had a handle on the middle so he could grasp it and take aim at his preferred target. Next to the thunderbolt, we have a set of wings, making reference to his rule over the heavens. We can also see the letters D Gamma and Alpha, the letters the city of Elians used to identify itself. We then jump forward to the year 388 BC to look at another example, this time from the 98th edition of the Olympics. Now we have Zeus's wife, the goddess Hera. This particular piece was struck with worn dice, hence the mushy details, but with some drawings we can make sense of what we have here. On the obverse, we have the bust of the goddess looking to the right. To decorate her bust, the engraver decided to give her a stephan, a jewel diadem worn by imported women, and some elaborate earrings. Heading to the reverse, we have once again the thunderbolt of Zeus. This time, it was made slightly different with 6 tips instead of only 2. And around the thunderbolt, we have an olive wreath. This was given as a trophy to the winners of the games. It was made out of the branches of a sacred tree from the Olympia sanctuary. And you might think that's a very underwhelming prize for someone who just won the Olympics, but don't worry. If you managed to win the Olympics, you could be pretty sure you would be showered with prizes back home, tax exemptions, and likely even an opening to get involved into local politics. The Olympic Games also inspired a lot of coin designs from other regions. All the way across the Aegean Sea, the city of Aspendos in modern-day Turkey is famous among numismatists for striking silver staters featuring athletes on both sides. Here, what we have is an early example, likely struck in the Archaic period, so contemporary to the earliest coins of the Olympics. And it likely indicates that Aspendos had a strong tradition of high-performance athletes. On the obverse, we see 2 wrestlers practicing pale, the ancient version of wrestling. In this competition, a fighter had to score 3 points in order to win the match. You scored a point by successfully making your opponent lose balance, or to make the opponent's back touch the floor. You could also score by forcing your opponents out of the fighting ring, or by sheer submission. If they tapped out, if they raised a finger, or something that signaled the referee they gave up, you won the match. Could Aspendos have had a long tradition of good wrestlers? They minted this design for centuries. Looking at the reverse, we have another ancient Greek sport, slinging. Many ancient Olympic sports were inspired on some sort of martial skill, from running in full military gear to all kinds of projectile competitions, such as javelin throw and slinging. As we can see in the design, our little friend here wears a nice little tunic, which would not be what you would see in the Olympics. Remember, they competed completely on the nude. I wonder why javelin throwing was revived into the modern Olympics, but slinging wasn't. It would be a nice thing to watch. Apart from our slinger here, we have a control mark of a triskeles, a 3-legged symbol. And for our final coin of the day, we're doing a long jump in time to the 3rd century AD, between the years 238 and 244 AD. When the Romans took the Greek territories, they actually fostered and supported certain elements of Pan-Hellenic culture. Not only they kept and supported the Olympic Games, but they also created their own set of games meant to aggrandize the image of the emperor. This coin in particular is attributed to the city of Beroea in the province of Macedon, and was supposed to celebrate the Neokoria, a set of games organized to celebrate when a Greek city finished the temple dedicated to the imperial cult. This is a special coin. It not only celebrates the Neokoria games, but it also celebrates the 600th anniversary of Alexander the Great's birth. It's quite interesting to see a Roman provincial coin that stylistically is completely Hellenistic. You would believe the Romans would push for a Romanization of Macedon, but instead they let them foster a separate Macedonian identity. On the obverse we can see the bust of Alexander, and we can also see the legends Alexandro, or coin of Alexander. Looking at the reverse, we have a decorated urn. Different from the old Olympic Games, the Neocoria and the games organized by the Romans had prizes distributed to the winners. This is what we have on this reverse, a decorated table, and over it we have 2 circular urns. These urns would contain the prizes for the winners and would be displayed in front of the athletes and the crowd before the competition started. At the legends, Koinon Macedonion means from the Koinon of Macedon, the name given to the administrative body of magistrates that organized the games and helped with the running of the province of Macedon. And here we have it. Imagine having a coin that was once owned by an ancient Olympic champion. These pieces certainly are among some of the most historically significant I have ever featured on my channel. Once more, thank you very much to the Mesogeios collection for filming me these coins for today's episode. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider leaving a like, a comment, and subscribing, as it really helps the channel. Happy collecting, and I'll see you soon.